Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstones. Peace, mercy, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the Israelites of the Bible, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And as you can see in this video, the caption says, Games destroys lives. Two teen girls, including a 13-year-old, die after attempting a deadly subway surfing in New York City. And as you can see in the video, you can see there's, young Jakes on top of a moving train. And if we read down, here's the description. It says, two teens girls, one only 13-year-old, were found dead early Saturday morning in Brooklyn after allegedly attempting a dangerous subway surfing stunt. The second victim is believed to be between 13 and 18 years old. Police confirmed that both girls were pronounced dead at the scene. The accident occurred around 3:10 a.m. So it was at 3 a.m. in the morning at the Marcy Avenue Broadway subway station in Williamsburg. Authorities discovered the victims unconscious and unresponsible on top of the Brooklyn-bound J train. Emergency responders were called immediately, but unfortunately the girls could not be revived. This tragic event marks the fifth subway surfing death in New York City so far this year. So this is the fifth time someone has died, playing these kind of games, riding on top of a moving train. Subway surfing, a risky act where people ride on top of moving trains, has become a growing safety concern for cities authorities due to its deadly consequence. Police continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident, urging teenagers and parents to be aware of the dangers of such stunts. Officials have warned that these thrill-seeking activities are extremely dangerous and can result in serious injuries or fatalities. So yeah, two girls died, and this is the fifth time someone has died by doing these kind of stunts. And doing stuff like that is like tempting the Lord. And it says even in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 1, it says, Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Adonai your Yahweh commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear the Adonai thy Yahweh, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I commanded thee, thou and thy sons and thy sons' sons, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. So you're pretty much the law, statute, commandments were given to the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites, and the man is supposed to teach it to their sons or their daughters, and so on and so on. Even in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 1, it says, My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandments. Your heart represents your mind. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. So when you keep the law, statute, commandments, length of days and long life and peace should be added to you, because you know how to pretty much conduct yourself. You know what the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bashem Yahushai likes and dislikes. You know how to move with pretty much with discernment. We go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and we jump to verse 16. It says, Ye shall not tempt the Adonai your Yahweh as ye tempted him in Massa. So that was a commandment that the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave to the Israelites, not to tempt the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bashem Yahushai as ye tempted him in Massa. And if you go to the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 1, and right here is when the Israelites were tempting the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It reads, Exodus chapter 17, verse 1, And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin, after their journey according to the commandments of the Adonai Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in Pinch and Raphadim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, Give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Adonai Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? So, Moses even said it himself, like, why are you chiding with me? Like, you're tempting the Lord. And that's something that the Israelites were doing, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans were doing to the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They were speaking out of angry or displeased or rebuke. Verse 3, And the people thirst there for water, and the people murmur against Moses and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Adonai Yahweh Shai, saying, What should I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. So pretty much, the Israelites were murmuring. They were like bitching and complaining about it. And the Adonai Yahweh Shai said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thy hand, and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of that place Massa and Marabah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Adonai Yahweh Shai, saying, Is the Adonai Yahweh Shai among us or not? So this is pretty much, they were murmuring and complaining. Is the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shai with us or not? They were tempting the Lord. So like if you go to the back to Deuteronomy chapter 6, chapter 6 verse 16 says, Ye should not tempt the Adonai your Yahweh as ye tempted him at Massa. If you also go to the book of Matthew, a perfect example is with Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And this is when the devil came to tempted Yahweh Shai. This is the book of Matthew chapter 4 verse 1. Then was Yahweh Shai led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward in hunger. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yahweh. So that's in the Old Testament. So Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, he was quoting from the Old Testament. He was using the law, statutes, and commandments. So the law, statutes, and commandments are not away with. Verse 5. Here's where he tempts him more. Then the devil take him up into the holy city, and set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of Yahweh, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou should dash thy foot against a stone. So, the devil, Satan took him up to the temple and told him, Hey, jump off, pretty much jump off the building, and, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, is going to send angels to help you, and you won't dash your stones. You won't dash your foot in the stones. This is what Yahweh Shai said. Yahweh Shai said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Adonai thy Yahweh. So it says we shouldn't tempt the Heavenly Father Yahweh by putting ourselves in situations that could get us hurt, or hurting ourselves physically, mentally, or spiritually. Verse 8. Again, the devil take him up into an exceeding high mountain, and show him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Yahweh Shai unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Adonai thy Yahweh, and him only, and him only shalt thou serve. So right here, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was quoting from the Old Testament. And if you go to when it says verse 10, Then said Yahweh Shai unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Adonai thy Yahweh, and him only shalt thou serve. That goes back to Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. It says right here, And Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am the Adonai thy Yahweh, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Who was brought out of Egypt? Those were the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Adonai thy Yahweh, am a jealous Yahweh, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So, Yahweh Shai, who the world literally calls Jesus Christ, was quoting the Old Testament, the law, statute, commandments. And one of the commandments was don't tempt the heavenly Father Yahweh Bashim Shai. And that what happened with these girls. They tempted the heavenly Father Yahweh Bashim Shai by getting on a moving train, putting their life at risk, and they end up dying, knowing the fact that before this happened to them, it happened 4 times to other people. So, you play stupid games, get ready for the consequences. You don't want to tempt the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashimi Al Shai. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash, Shalom.